Chapter 2, Work. I saw someone on a surfboard carried in to the shore on the crest of a wave. They were swept right up onto the beach without any effort whatsoever. I heard the words, "Do all that has to be done on the crest of a wave, so that everything unfolds in true perfection and nothing is done with effort." In November 1962, Peter and Eileen Caddy followed the guidance of the inner voice, settled with their caravan near the coast of the Moray Firth. With them were their 3 young sons and a friend, Dorothy McLean. Little did they know then that they would be there for years, that they were to make that wilderness blossom like the rose, and that they were to be co-founders of a spiritual community which would one day be known all over the world. All they knew then was that it was the divine plan for their lives to be there, and that they had had many lessons to learn in preparation for work which God had for them. What that work was to be, they did not know. If they had known, they might well have hesitated. But in faith, they were ready to obey the guiding voice one step at a time, whatever it said. "I have called you to this very place, so that each one of you might be recharged with my spirit. The work that has to be done far exceeds anything you ever imagined. Work very closely together. You are a very close-knit group, each having your special part to play. So much of the new is opening up for each of you. Be not afraid, for perfect love casts out all fear. If you can take one step at a time, it all works out. This is as it should be. I want you to know that I have not forsaken you, that I am ever closer to you, that I want things to work out perfectly for you, and they will. But never try and rush ahead and make plans. I want you to live from day to day. Never try to look too far ahead. Live in the here and now, because now is the only time that really matters. There is so much that you can do now. Live one day at a time and live it well." The first thing that they were told to do was to completely clean the caravan from top to bottom, inside and out. Peter and Dorothy then painted the whole caravan so that the light was radiated from within to the very fabric of it. This cleansing reveals a basic principle in establishing any centre of light. There must be order and cleanliness, otherwise there will be focal points for the forces of darkness to become attached and linger. This is also a basic principle of spiritual living. Let there be law and order in your lives, so that you are in rhythm and harmony with the whole of life. There is nothing out of rhythm in nature. All is perfect, all is in order. It is only man who creates chaos and confusion. And as man draws nearer and nearer to me and becomes aware of his oneness with me, so shall his life change, and he will no longer be out of rhythm with all life. When you are in a state of love and light and you radiate these, nothing of the darkness can come near you or affect you in any way. Seek always the light. There is no need to remain in the darkness. Step out of it right now into the glorious light. The next step was to make a patio outside the front door with a fence around a small patch of ground where they might grow some radishes and lettuces. For they still thought they'd not be there that long. As Peter said, "If I had been told that we were to have a garden of several acres made out of the sand and gravel, I would have thrown up my hands in horror. Like everything in nature, we had to start in a small way. So, the garden that was to pioneer a new way of working with nature was begun with no clear plan in mind. The plan you have for the full protection of the caravan is inspired by me and has my full blessings. Keep that picture of the completed plan in your mind and bring it about. You have the time, but take it steadily and know that every time you put the spade into the soil, you are putting in radiations. Yes, love that vegetable garden. Use all my gifts to the full and be ever grateful for them. Accept all the help that is given you by the family. They too have their part to play. Include them. Let it be a really joyous time for all of you, creating a place of beauty and harmony. Dorothy MacLean was told in meditation to try to contact the angelic archetypal forces behind nature. This communication with the Devic realm added a new dimension to the work in the garden. The garden is to be a great asset, not a liability. That is why every action must be so closely guided. Dorothy's wonderful contact with the angels of the various plants will make a tremendous difference. She is to have more confidence in her higher self and know that she can do all things. This is a special gift I have bestowed upon her and her alone. You are working with nature, with the nature spirits and elementals, and you are gradually finding harmony with these. What is happening is something completely new, because this is the way the new world is to be recreated. You are all learning the secret of creation in your various ways. Work steadily on and know that all is well. Be patient. Things are happening which you are not even aware of yet. Know that all you are doing in your daily living, whether it is the food you eat, the work you do, the harmony you work in, all are carrying you even further into the new. Let there be no slipping back into the old. You see how everything is being speeded up. In such a short time, the whole development of the garden has come about, and the growth and life force of plants and soil show at what a rate it has been speeded up. So with your own development as a group, each one has shot ahead in a very short space of time. The garden cannot flourish and flower without careful handling. The garden does not just happen, it has to be worked for, cared for, weeded so that it does not become choked, watered in the dry season. Plants have to be thinned, the soil has to be cared for. To get results, effort must be made by the gardener. So with life. Effort must be made to draw forth the best. You must make the effort to think right. You must make the effort to unite with your fellow men. Unity does not just happen. You have to do your part to create unity. Many, many were the lessons they all learnt by working together in the garden. These lessons, as they soon discovered, applied to all kinds of work and to the whole of life when they sought to live by spiritual laws. These same lessons are valid now for the whole community and have to be learnt and followed by all who would be builders of the new age. Essentially, these lessons involve changes of consciousness. They can be grouped under three main headings. The first is the need to be guided in every detail of what one does. As everything is part of the divine plan, so everyone has their own unique place in that plan, their own unique contribution to make to the whole. At this time, you can learn that priceless lesson of living moment by moment under my minute guidance. In this way, there need never be a moment of boredom. Let me tell you when to read, when to write, when to walk, when to see people, when to have time with the children. This is the only way to live a really full life. You can waste so much time doing the wrong things if you do not come to me consistently and constantly to ask me what I want you to do. You have no set time for anything. You have no specific job to do without my guidance. You could all be either bored to tears or simply go round and round in circles doing the wrong things. Last night, you tried to do too many things at the same time. With the result, you got cross and irritable. Things did not go smoothly. And by the end of the evening, you were exhausted. It was only nervous exhaustion. It is well from time to time to see the perfect pattern running through all that is happening to all of you. Always go with the tide. Never try to pull against it. I want you to realize that the work on the annex must be very guided in every way. This has been given to you all to do for a specific purpose. To teach you first and foremost to seek my guidance over every step, and secondly to learn to work together in perfect harmony. I want you all to remember this in everything that is done. It is not just a job to be done and completed. It is giving you very important lessons to learn. Learn to act only on my guidance in everything. It is so easy over the ordinary mundane things in life, just to go on from one thing to another without stopping to find out if you are doing right. You feel that such and such a thing has to be done, and the sooner you get it done, the better. This is an entirely wrong attitude, because there is a right time for everything, and these times of just being are so very important. Any man who lacks patience and understanding, let him come to me, and I will bestow these gifts upon him. They are so necessary when you are working for me, when your life is dedicated to my service. There are times when the wheels move very slowly, so slowly they seem to be at a standstill. Impatience floods through you, and your desire is to take things into your own hands and see some action. How foolish is man! Unless work is done at the right time with my full blessing and cooperation, there is no impetus behind it. It simply falls on stony ground and withers and dies. Be patient. Bide your time until I say to go forward. Then and then only take the action required without hesitation and absolutely fearlessly. If you ever feel the slightest hesitation in taking some action, it's better to wait than take a false step, and in so doing hold up my work. Great patience and understanding is necessary, and above all complete obedience to my word. Do not waste time experimenting, simply do what I ask of you. So much precious time is wasted trying your own way first, before doing my will. Time is getting so short, and there is much to be accomplished. The time for experimentation is over. Find your rightful place in the whole vast plan, and if you find you are not in the front line, do not let this disturb you. Remember, all sorts are needed to make up the whole. Simply accept your specific work. Do what you know you have to do wholeheartedly, and allow those who have been placed in the position of leadership and responsibility to go ahead. Give them your full backing and loyalty. They need it and appreciate it. The second lesson, learned in the garden but relevant to all work, again fundamentally a change of consciousness, is the right attitude to work. This springs from an awareness of the divine in oneself and in all things, and includes both the spirit in which you do our work and the standard we seek to attain in all we do, even the most mundane or seemingly unimportant job. One of the secrets of building a center of light is concentration, but concentration on a specific object. To concentrate on one specific thing at a time and do that to perfection. It is so important that whatever is done should be done in the right spirit, and in the knowledge that no time is being wasted if it does take longer than planned. Time is not the thing that matters, but unity, cooperation, and really positive thinking is vital. Whenever there is any negative thinking, it would be far better to sit and do nothing until there has been a deep change within. You now have a purpose in life, which is more than you could have honestly said a short time ago. Be ever thankful for this. It's a wonderful thing to realize that you personally are needed to carry out a work that no one else can do. You've been trained and tested over years to enable you to fulfill this work. It has taken a long time, but now at last you can see the goal in the distance. You cannot see the pattern running through your life, but believe me, there is a very clear pattern running through it. There are parts of it you would prefer to forget, but you will need this training to enable you to do what you will have to do. It's always a good thing to have an aim in life, to know where you're going. Drifting gets you nowhere. To know that you are indispensable to me and my work has given you a new purpose in life. Each one of you has something special to contribute to the whole. Let me use you as I will, have no barriers, remembering that we are one. I need instruments who are simply instruments to work through, to bring forth my word without hesitations, and who will act upon it because they have implicit faith in my word, and know that when it is acted upon, things really do begin to happen. I want to stress with all of you to do the work I have chosen for you, whatever it may be, wholeheartedly. When something is done half-heartedly with lack of faith and confidence in what you are doing, it has no power. It therefore cannot be made manifest in form. Only as you accept your work wholeheartedly can you hope to see whatever it is brought about. You bring about what you believe, and only when you believe with your whole heart, do whatever has to be done wholeheartedly or not at all. Get into gear, go full steam ahead, accepting whatever comes. Go with it, accept it, and let there be no pullback. Whatever job you are doing, see a purpose in it and learn lessons all the time. That digging you are doing showed you how important dogged persistence is in this life. When you tried to shove your spade into that stony soil, you just hit a stone and got nowhere. But by steadily loosening the stones, you are really able to make an impression. You need to take your onward movement in this life more steadily and with greater persistence. By doing that, anything that stands in the way will be pushed aside. All this stood out clearly as you worked, so you were not only doing a job, but learning an important lesson as well. Perfection is one of the greatest aims, perfection in all things. It is one you are stumbling over. You know I want everything done perfectly, done to my honour and glory. And yet, if you can take a shortcut, you so very often take it. Shortcuts are no good for anyone. Anything done in a slapdash manner is not being done for me. It means that the lower self is in control and not the higher self. The higher self would not tolerate anything done half-heartedly. You wonder how you can do this when it is important that you get on with it. The way you do it and the attitude with which it is done is more important than simply getting it done no matter what happens. It is not easy, but your whole attitude can be changed in the twinkling of an eye. And you will find that less and less time is wasted, and all will be done perfectly. Always the higher is striving for perfection. All you really need to do is look and see how you are doing a job, no matter what it is. And if you find you are not doing it with your whole heart, therefore perfectly, it is better to stop doing it until your attitude is right. Everything becomes very dull and dreary when you get into a rut, and do what has to be done automatically and as a routine. Every day is new. That very newness needs to be brought out in your living. That is when life can be so exciting and thrilling and become like a mass of beautiful colours swirling around, forming different patterns and designs all the time. You never know what will come next. This keeps you alert and on your toes because you do not want to miss anything. And all the grey drabness disappears. Life becomes colour and light and beauty. The speeding up process is tremendous. Come out of your shell, all of you. Now is a time of times. Gone are the days of routine. So do not try to step back into them. Before you is the new, new, new. Each day will be different. Each day will be drawn here. None are to be turned away. More will be drawn here. All are to be welcomed warmly and included. The third lesson to be learnt about work is that it should be done with love. When we are really guided in all we do, doing the right thing at the right time in the right place, then work is truly love in action. It will be done with joy, with a sense of fulfillment and in harmony with those who are working with us. I want you to learn to do things because you really enjoy doing them, because you know you're doing them for me. Yes, even the most ordinary mundane things in daily life. If only you could remember this at all times, every deed, every action would take on a new look. Life would become really exciting. What has always appeared to be a drudge would become a joy. Take as an example the act of polishing a floor. You can do it positively, so that you can enjoy seeing a lovely shine come up as you rub, or you can do it negatively and just feel it is another job that must be done. When you start a job, whatever it may be, see that your attitude towards it is right and how different it will be. So with everything in life, your attitude makes it one thing or another. Keep very positive about everything. There is so much to do, therefore you are on your toes, doing what has to be done now, not concerned about what has to be done in the future. You know that will open out quite naturally like a flower in the sun. That is the way I want you to live all the time, filled with joy and happiness, doing my will. Nothing else really matters. Keep this ever before you, and you can create and draw forth only the good. You attract to you that which you love or that which you hate and fear. When your consciousness is negative, you draw negativity to you like steel to a magnet. You will find yourself keeping company with those of like mind, for like attacks like. When your consciousness is of love, when you're bubbling over with the joys of life, your heart is filled with gratitude for everything and everyone. You will draw to you those happy, joyful souls who radiate love and joy wherever they go, and your life will be filled with the very best that life can offer. You are beginning to see the importance of working as a group. It does mean learning to be very sensitive to the other person's needs on the higher levels. This is becoming group conscious. This is the new, because it is a case of reaching up and reaching out and feeling deeply the needs of others without any thought for the self. Teamwork means working together, knowing what the other one is doing and going with them. Living as a group does mean consideration and understanding. No one can live their own life because each life is intertwined with each other's. It does not mean that one gets a bright idea and expects all the others to follow. It means each one has to be closely guided by me. And you cannot be closely guided unless you constantly seek my guidance. It must be made clear from the start with all who come here that this is a living, working group. and all must be willing to take part in all that is going on and pull their weight. The mistakes which have been made in the past must not be allowed to occur again. Those who come must never be under the impression that they are coming for a holiday and will be waited on. They are coming to give and to receive on all levels, and this must be clearly understood. Many hands make light work, and when all are playing their part, it leaves more time for all to really enjoy themselves in so many different ways. Work is love in action, so get into action and work with love, and help raise the vibrations of all you undertake. The more who can do what has to be done in the right spirit, the quicker will my heaven be brought down on earth. So start off each day on the right foot, with your heart filled with love and thanksgiving for everything. It takes all sorts to make a world. I need you all to be different. Be very loving and very tolerant with each other. Try to understand one another, and so help to fulfill your individual destinies. Always try to hold before you the main objective, the goal to be reached, the bringing down of my kingdom on earth, the creating of perfection in everything, doing everything with love, to my honor and glory. Start right now to really love the world you are in. Really enjoy it to the full. It is a wonderful, wonderful world. You are greatly blessed and privileged to be living in it. The key to the meaning of work in the New Age is an awareness of the divinity in oneself and in all life. It is this which enables one to follow the lessons which Peter shares from his early training. Love wherever you are, love whatever you are doing, and love whoever you are with. Work is nothing less than the means by which everyone and everything may realize its potential divinity. You take a piece of metal and shape it into a tool with which you can dig the garden or prepare food, and you have that, in that way, made it more intelligent. You have raised its consciousness and released its hidden splendor, as a sculptor does when he makes a rough stone into a thing of beauty. When you take a dirty floor, scrub it and make it spotlessly clean, and then polish it until it shines, it radiates back to you the love which you poured into it. The divinity of that floor has been drawn forth. This ability to bring out the inner divinity of things and people is, in fact, the function of the Christ. David Spangler has said, "This is why at Findhorn there is such insistence upon perfection in all things, doing all things well, maintaining beauty and order, because it is the Christ's task to uplift all matter and restore it to its own pristine knowledge of its beauty. Man can do this more than any other creature on the earth, for man has the capability of drawing beauty out of nature. When something is made well, when something is cleaned well, when something is planted well, when something is designed well, the Christ lives in it. It has been done with love. We have actually been a link between the life within that thing, whether it is a chair or a dress or a stove or whatever it may be, and the greater life from which it came. And by being that link through our love and interest, through our care and concern for perfection, we have infused that matter with life that it knew not that it had. To that degree we have awakened it from slumber. To that degree we are also Christ. I am love. To know me, you must have love in your hearts, for without love you cannot know me. Keep the love flowing freely. Learn to love what you are doing. Love your environment. Love all those around you. It is I who work all things in and through you, when you are willing to surrender your will and do my will. That is when the seemingly impossible becomes possible. For with me all things are possible, and all obstacles are swept aside, so that everything runs smoothly and everything falls into place perfectly. You behold seeming miracle upon miracle come about. Learn to live in such a way that this is taking place all the time, and it becomes your normal way of living. Expect those wonders and miracles to come about, and you cannot fail to see them happening all around you. There is a time and season for everything. It is a question of allowing your life to be guided by me, so that you know the right time and season with a clear inner knowing, and can move swiftly following these inner promptings with absolute confidence. It is important that you really learn to enjoy to the full everything you undertake. When you can do this, you will get far more done. It will be done with love, and therefore it will be done perfectly. Let perfection be your aim at all times. When you do something with love, you are doing it for me. These principles are true not only for ordinary work, but also for the wider work, which was the very reason for the existence of the community. Every kind of work must therefore be seen in its place within the overall purpose which Findhorn serves. There is a vast amount of work to be done, but it will be divided up so well that the weight will not fall on the few but on the many, and will become as thistledown. It will be done with great joy and pleasure, and will be enjoyed by all. Nothing is to be done half-heartedly. Wholehearted cooperation is essential in all that is done. Everyone who is drawn here will find their own note and will sound it loud and clear. Each will have their unique contribution to make to the whole. This is a living, working group, which what has been pioneered here will be used by many all over the world. The years of work which have been done very quietly and steadily will bear much fruit, for all that has been done has been guided by me step by step, and has been done to my honour and glory. Therefore, only the perfect can spring forth. There are as many facets of the work as there are facets in a diamond. Everyone is vital and essential to make up the whole fullness and perfection. That is why each individual who is drawn here has a unique contribution to make to the whole. You will find no two will be alike, and this is exactly as it should be. As each soul offers its contribution to the work, you will see the perfect pattern and plan evolve. Nothing should be held back. Nothing should be clamped down or watered down. Every soul who comes may not even be aware of their specific contribution, but gradually it will become evident. Every gift and every talent must be used to the full and developed, no matter what it may be. There have been too few workers up to date, and the harvest is great and will become greater. Therefore, more workers are needed in the fields to gather in the harvest. Let them all come who ask to come, for there is work for all. The radiations will do the sorting out. You will not have to do anything. The term work can be greatly misunderstood, for there is inner work to be done as well as outer. Therefore, judge not by the outer eye, but by the inner. Some will appear to do very little on the outer, yet their contribution may be even more vital than those who are very active. Great sensitivity and understanding is so necessary, plus patience. Always be very patient. Some will develop faster than others. Some will need more drawing out and gentle handling. All will be needed, all will fit in. The work here will develop by leaps and bounds. Nothing can hold it back now. So much is waiting to be manifested. These are tremendous days, days of revelation. Keep on your toes and miss nothing. Record all that comes, for all is vital to the whole. The place you have reached in your daily living has not been reached without effort, without many vital lessons being learnt. It may all seem so simple to those who come here and see the way you live. They do not realize the tremendous work and lessons which have had to be learnt to build these rock-like foundations which are unshakable. They do not realize the amazing amount of work that has gone into the foundations, the corners that have had to be rubbed smooth, the breaking down of the little self, the many ups and downs, and the real pain where there's been any resistance. It has been a slow business, but these foundations were absolutely essential before the building could be started. Now it all appears to be so simple, a glorious way of life, but it should be made very clear this has not come about without much hard work and sacrifice on all your parts, and a complete dedication of your lives to me and to my work. I ask for all, and when all is given, it is returned 1,000-fold. There can be no half-heartedness in this life. It must be complete surrender to me. Only then can I work through each of you. This is a pioneering group, so never look for a blueprint to follow, for you will find none. Step by step the plan will unfold under my guidance, so never be dismayed or distressed, never feel lost or uncertain. My plan is perfect, and only the very best will result. What you are doing here, many will do, for this is the prototype for group living in centres of great light and power. All directives are to come from me. Never rush ahead without seeking me first in everything. Gradually the whole plan will unfold. Be very patient and never try to force anything. A flower loses its beauty if the bud is forced open. Let every petal unfold in its perfect timing, and you have something of true beauty and perfection. So with this work which you are doing for me, what is being pioneered here will go out across the face of the globe. There are times when you are quite blind to this. You get so engrossed in the ordinary things to be done, you fail to see the importance of what is being done, and the vastness of it, and the true wonder of it. It is something which has grown from very small beginnings, like a tiny acorn which is planted and eventually grows to a mighty oak. And its branches will cover the face of the earth. For all who are in the right place at the right time, who put God first in everything, all their needs will be met perfectly. Findhorn was built on this principle of manifestation and is a visible demonstration of its truth. I am your source of supply, and all that I have is yours. My infinite abundance is available to all, but your consciousness must be of abundance, with no thought of lack or shortage in anything. Feel your consciousness expand and expand. Let it go on expanding without any limitation, for limitation causes blockages in the constant flow. With limitation comes fear, and with fear comes stagnation. And when something becomes stagnant, the circulation is cut off and it goes dead. Keep the circulation flowing, let there be constant giving and receiving on all levels, and know the meaning of infinite abundance. Know that you are one with me, that you are the one with all the wealth in the world, that everything you have you use for the good of the whole, that nothing is taken to the self, that nothing is hoarded, all is there to be used and to be used wisely. You are good stewards of all my good and perfect gifts. You seek my guidance and direction as to the right use of my infinite supply. Whatever you undertake to do it with my blessing. Go into the silence, feel peace and serenity steal over you and unfold you. And in that state, ask and receive my blessing. Then go forward enfolded in absolute faith and confidence, and do what has to be done. Know that I am with you all the way, and know that everything will work out perfectly. The greater the task to be accomplished, the greater your need for my blessing. Bring me into every small area of your lives. Include me in more and greater areas, until eventually you take no step without first seeking me and my full blessing. All that is undertaken in this centre is done this way. This is why nothing can possibly go awry, and there is a perfect pattern and plan running through all. You know that all is in my hands. It will work out exactly at the right time, and the right people will be drawn here to enable it to go forward smoothly and fall into its rightful place. Become more and more aware of the things that really matter in life, the things that gladden the heart, refresh the spirit, and lift the consciousness. The more beauty you absorb, the more beauty you can reflect. The more love you absorb, the more love you have to give. The world needs more and more love, beauty, harmony, and understanding, and you are the ones to give it forth. Why not open your hearts now and do it?